She can't even identify the gun, meaning that the gun is not licensed to her name. Because if a gun has been licensed to your name, you obviously be able to identify it. So you unlawfully offload a gun in a public place, disrupt a voter registration exercise. She went there together with thugs who don't belong to our law enforcement agencies, who burnt motorcycles belonging to bystanders, attacked NDC polling agents and supporters there, maimed some of them, and you are saying what? She's been invited by the police. What has become of that invitation? If indeed it was an invitation. Because it wasn't an invitation. The police rather went to her house. So we know that because this is a well-thought-out orchestration being supervised by President Akufo-Addo himself, who is Commander-in-Chief, she will be left off the hook like the several other MPP criminals Honorable Vice-Free Ankra mentioned, who have been left off the hook despite the atrocities they have committed against NDC supporters and innocent civilians. And that is why we are serving notice. You see, when you talk about things like this, people say, oh, you are complaining too much. You are talking too much. We are in opposition. We bet this fourth Republican democracy. And as a responsible opposition, a law-abiding political party, it is our responsibility to continuously highlight these acts of violence, these cruel acts which have the tendency to plunge this country into chaos and doom. It is our responsibility to do so, and that is why we are doing it. But above all, we also have a right to defend ourselves. And that is why our elections director, and even before today, our national youth organizer, has called on all party supporters to defend themselves in line with the right to self-defense provided under the Constitution. And today we are reiterating that call. Comrades who are listening to us this afternoon, do not sit aloof and allow these cowards and criminals to beat you, maim you, and even kill you. You have a right to defend yourselves. Mobilize yourself. Come together. Whatever you can get you can get to defend yourself against harm, against death, do so. Call on us anytime you need any support, and we will stand by you every step of the way to make sure that we resist this oppressive rule, this rule of terror and tyranny we are all being subjected to. And we know we shall prevail at the end of the day. But we have also cautioned members of our security agencies who still have their conscience intact, their integrity intact, and who are not happy with what is happening, that they must rise up and be counted. This is the time for them to act. Today, the Ghana Armed Forces is being bastardized. As for the police, they've been rendered useless by this government, which has bastardized all state security agencies. But there are good people in there. And I dare say that the good people in there are in the majority. And that is why we are appealing to their conscience that people are giving the institutions you belong to a bad name. This is the time to act. As for the MPP hoodlums and bandits and their collaborators in our state security agencies, like Honorable Levis said, power is transient. December 7th is not far. The next NDC government will fish all of them out, including the policemen in uniform, that police commander at Ifutu, including all of them, Afenyo Mark, and all these members of parliament. And that is why he said that we are all in this country who know what is happening. You can consider that as a threat or a warning, because that day is coming, and it is coming really quick. We will fish all of them out and deal with them drastically, including the men in army uniforms, police uniforms, and all of them. Apart from standing up to their intimidation now, apart from mobilizing ourselves to defend our people through every legitimate means, we will ensure when that day of reckoning comes, when that day of accountability comes, we will ensure that there is retribution. And that is why the international community, our religious bodies, civil society organizations, who are not happy with what is happening. Some of whom are speaking up, like Bishop Ajina Sari, like the security experts who are calling for the dismissal and the prosecution of that gangster, criminal, thuggish minister Hawa Kumsen. That is why we are saluting all of them. We are encouraging them to continue to speak up. We will not stop the press conferences. But that doesn't mean that that is all we will do. We will defend ourselves. We have told our people to mobilize. If they attack them, they should retaliate through every legitimate means, because they have the right to self-defense. That is what we will do. But when eventually, I'm saying when and not if, because it is just a matter of time, power shifts, then we will know what will become of these criminals and thugs and their collaborators in our state agencies who are terrorizing innocent civilians, including journalists, maiming people, killing people, and so on. That day will surely come. And so, Parker, what has happened is not an invitation. What is happening is a cover-up. We are aware, we know what the plan is, and we are telling them, all the people there, they are making, the police officers there, they are making their police career, the military officers, they are making their career in the military, that respected state security agency, coterminous with that of President Akufo-Addo. The day President Akufo-Addo will exit office will be the last day they will serve as policemen and military men, and we will deal with them mercilessly. That is the message we are sending across to them today. Thank you. Kuluche, I can see that you have a question.
Quick one. The pictures that you have shown us, has the NDC authenticated some of the pictures, specifics? With the very first one, the gentleman in whose head was bathed with some, I don't know if it is blood, it's paint, whatsoever. That picture specifically, I stand to be corrected, but that picture I have seen on social media before this incident that happened in Kaswa. This is the question. Has the NDC authenticated some of the images that you are displaying? Because we have lived within this country where you yourself in the past, then in government, accused the gentleman who had his eyes gored by saying that it was chicken blood that was used to spread on him. So that's the question.
Okay, let me answer this before we even move on. The pictures you saw are all authentic pictures. They have been authenticated and verified. It is possible that indeed you have seen that picture in circulation on social media before. Because when we were recounting the violent incidences that have happened at Ayawasu East, Awutu Senya East, under the leadership and direction of Hawa Kumsen, we were not referring to the Monday shooting incident alone. We were referring to previous violent acts in that same constituency. As Honorable Levi Free Ankara took his time to recount all those violent incidences, what happened on day 1, day 2, and day 3. So that picture is as a result of the brutalities meted out to our supporters before the Monday shooting incident at Awutu Senya East during the ongoing voter registration exercise under the direction of Hawa Kumsen, who has imported thugs from Boko, come there in the constituency, arm them with weapons, and are leading them to terrorize her own constituency. So that is that. I hope you are clear. Thank you.
Sometimes, somebody has been injured with blood. They are saying it's paint. It looks suspicious. Okay, so somebody is dead. It's suspicious. So, assuming we've shown you many pictures, and you are the ones who are supposed to bring these things out. The media, you are the ones who are supposed to bring these things out. We have brought them out. Now you're saying it's paint. God, help us. Jesus come again. It's getting frightening. Do we have conscience at all in this country? So how many people should die before we realize that there's something wrong? We shouldn't trivialize such issues. I mean, assuming. So how many people should die? Who will pour pain on himself? And within that context. So this is faith. Show all the others.
The one with the stitches on the head.
The gentleman with the stitches on the head. There was actually, the last press conference, there was actually an audio, you heard him. When they went...
To his face.
Yes. And so. When they stitched the head, he came back and said, unless they kill him. These things are happening live. Look, I've just got some information. All the 7 murder suspects who were arrested in connection to Silas' death were released last night without bringing the driver of the passenger vehicle and the passengers to do an identification. So there was no identification. I have some of the names. Inu Sakapo, Chairman Abiola, Sheila Kwame, and Soko. These are 4 among the 7 suspected murderers of Silas, and they were all released last night. What are we talking about here? And I'm saying that if we want to go into these are samples. So if these are samples, imagine what is happening on a daily basis. We get the reports every day. Please, this is not a joking matter. They are killing our brother. Or is it because they are poor people? They are Ghanaians. They have blood in them. They have souls. When you shed innocent blood, it will speak against you. And when the curse comes, unfortunately, it may come on the whole country. We are not part of it, though. Please.
Thank you. No, we will take your questions, but I want us to settle certain things before we move on, because what we are talking about here is not a joke. These are serious issues of life and death. These are serious issues that border on the peace and stability of this country, the democracy of this country. Issues that borders on injustice. And so we don't want you to live here with any doubt in your mind that we are making up these allegations or we are doing propaganda. No. We had so many. In fact, this was not the issue which was earlier on planned for this press briefing. But we had to change it, and that is why we delayed today's presser for about an hour, because of the increased speed and alarming rate of these violent acts. The constituency communication officer for Awutu Senya East, the said constituency, the constituency we are talking about is here, Comrade Delali Sewakpo. And I'm going to invite him to speak to the picture you saw, okay, so that we can settle that issue. But this reminds me of an incident on City, Eyewitness News on City FM yesterday, where an imposter who describes himself as a communication officer for Efutu was granted an interview. Please, we want to appeal to you, media men here, that do not grant any interview to that imposter in his so-called capacity as communication officer for the party at Efutu. He is not the communication officer for the party at Efutu. He has been suspended, and we know that he is working with our enemies. We will not call them opponents, because somebody like Afenyo Maken, who can direct for his own classmates and Bugatti, deputy regional communication officer, to be beaten to pulp, including being hit with a block on his head, something which nearly killed him, is not an opponent, he's an enemy. And that is how we will treat him when power shifts. And so that is information for you. Disregard that gentleman who claims to be the communication officer for the party at Efutu. He is not. We have an acting communication officer for that constituency. And so let us welcome Delali Sewakpo, constituency communication officer for the NDC at Awutu Senya East, to speak to the picture that Kwamna Kluchi of TV3 asked about. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, National Communication Officer, Lawyer Sammy Gyamfi. Ladies and gentlemen, media, the picture has been shown on the screen is Prosper, NDC party agent at Amusukopa, which happened to be one of the stronghold of the NDC in the Awutu Senya East constituency. In fact, was it about last 2 weeks? That is the victim, Prosper, and the culprit, that is Nana Kofi, who actually led the attack, together with Atokumsin, who happened to be the biological son of the Minister of State and the MP, Madam Mavis Hawakumsin, was at the Kaswa police station to meet the district police commander, Superintendent Odame. And I want to emphasize on this because it's very important. When he appeared before Superintendent Odame, what he told them is he's appealing to them to deal with the issue out of the police station. Nana Kofi actually admitted that he's not the one who actually inflicted this wound on Prosper. It was actually people who were national security operative. I want to emphasize on this. Nana Kofi, who happened to be the spokesperson of Madam Mavis Hawakumsin campaign team in the Wutu Senior's constituency, admitted before Superintendent Odame that indeed he was there when national security operative, working under the instruction of Madam Mavis Hawakumsin, inflicted this wound on Prosper, who happens to be the NDC party agent representing the party at the registration center at Tamuzi. So what you are seeing now is not a paint. This is blood oozing out from our comrade and a member of the NDC representing the party at Tamuzi. And this are before the police, and nothing has been done about it. I've seen several video that has been shown. There are some of the videos you see Francis Tete, MPP tag in the Wutu Senior's constituency. He was one of those people who were beating Kaswa Market Women during the lockdown. There's a video to that effect. He was the one that was seen in the video lifting block, hitting on the head of our party agent at Zongo, if the video can be shown. We have lodged a complaint against the police command, and nothing has been done about it. So all the videos that you've seen, all the pictures that you've seen, it's not a crafting of the NDC. This is what actually happened, and this is the kind of thing that is going on in the Wutu Senior's constituency. Thank you. God bless you.
So you see, Harun, what's her name? Mavis Hawakumsin's crimes go beyond the shooting incident. And that is why we are saying that she's a criminal and a gangster who doesn't deserve to occupy public office. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall at this stage take the last round of questions, after which Honorable Evisefri Ankra will do a brief summary of his